Hey guys, this is Dave from Orchids and Fynbos, and today we are spending the day in Hermanus, both at the coast as well as in the Fernkloof Nature Reserve. We are in search of the Cape Witch Orchid, also known as Disperis Capensis. I'll also be showing you a number of Fynbos species in the coastal flora, and then also in the Fernkloof Nature Reserve on the mountainside. So this is a two-part series for both the Disperis Capensis Cape Witch Orchid, and then the second one will be of the coastal flora, the Fynbos found at the coast. I hope you enjoy. The first of the Fynbos species that I would like to share with you is Phaenocoma prolifera. It is one of my favorite Fynbos species and one of the first that I was introduced to a few years ago in Kirstenbosch Gardens. It has a beautiful pink color, as you can see, and it is one of the everlasting flowers. And yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. I mean, just look at the beautiful color. How can you not fall in love with this flower? And look at this little guy. Let's try not to scare him. If you look closely in the distance, you will see one of the Cape sugarbirds. They have this beautiful long tail. They are very cute birds, and you will always see them amongst the Protea bushes. Click the link above to learn more about these Cape sugarbirds, which are endemic to the Fynbos region. And here we have a beautiful specimen of Disperis Capensis, also known as Moederkappie or the witch orchid. She's absolutely beautiful. You can see the dorsal sepals and petals fused to form a hood, and then the lateral sepals over here. The lip is hidden and is claw-shaped underneath the hood. This orchid is actually, I think I've mentioned this before, this orchid has a sort of biomimicry where it mimics one of the other flowers called a polygala. I'll put in an image of one of them, so that it tricks bees to come and draw its nectar. But when the bee comes to the orchid, it's actually tricked, and it pollinates the orchids when it moves on to the next one. Absolutely beautiful orchid, and what an appropriate name. Hope you guys enjoy it. And just for some size and perspective, if you look at the size of the orchid in comparison to my hand, it's pretty tiny. Ooh, let's try and get a clear image of that. Pretty tiny, absolutely beautiful. I'll take you down to show the leaves. Very tiny, thin leaves. So it's a terrestrial orchid, deciduous. And flowers around this time of the year between July and I think September. Take you up to show you the top. very, very beautiful orchid. Generally from about March, April to about mid-July, we don't see many orchids within the Fynbos biome. So I would say that the Disperis Capensis kind of marks the start of the real orchid season, which starts from September, October and runs through to about March, April the following year. From August until about March next year, we are going to try and do monthly visits to the Fernkloof Nature Reserve, which boasts about 81 species of orchids. This is an extremely high density of orchids for a region. I mean, if we consider that the Cape Floral region has about 241 orchids, and in total in South Africa 500 orchids. And that over there is our little car in the distance. Look at the beautiful bay in the distance, and that's the coast that we'll be exploring in part 2 of this video. And this is Leucospermum gracile, or the Hermanus Pinoushion, which is part of the Protea family and unfortunately is near threatened. Protea longifolia, or the long-leaved sugarbush. This is another species on the sandbee red list. This one is vulnerable to extinction. Erica ceranthoides, or the Fire Heath.
Drunk, I've never seen you clearer than now. We're flying high.
The variation of this species is remarkable. Look at the size of the hairs on the foliage and on the flowers of this species, how it can be different from plant to plant.
I think we're the wheels that won't stop turning. So take me on a trip, now, trip. Oh, flick that switch, kill the lights. Oh, wasted. City lights are shining so bright. All these empty faces, we don't care about them tonight. We're going out of ourselves, can you feel it? Almost like I don't know if it's real, 'cause when we're doing our thing, we're the wheels that won't stop turning. I know we're acting stupid, we're being dumb, maybe just a little bit foolish, but I feel so young. Just go a little crazy and lose it. I don't care if we're dumb, it's the only way we know how to do it.
And here are some carnivorous plants in situ. I know a number of you grow your orchids with carnivorous plants to catch those fungus gnats. Well, this is what they look like in situ. Very beautiful. They also flower around this time during the year. I didn't see any in flower at this point, but they do have beautiful flowers.
Acting stupid, we're being dumb. Maybe just a little bit foolish, but I feel so young. Drunk, I've never seen you clearer than now. We're flying high, floating somewhere up in the clouds. We're going out of ourselves, can you feel it? Almost like I don't know if it's real, cause when we're doing our thing, we're like wheels that won't stop turning. So take me on a trip, 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 now trip, trip, trip. Oh, flick that switch, kill the lights. Oh, wasted. City lights are shining so bright. All these empty faces, we don't care about them tonight. We're going out of ourselves.